It's Jason with Chicago News, and this might seem like deja vu. We've got another baby blue Volvo S90 sedan. This isn't the same one, but it's got the same color, the same interior color, the same finishes, mostly the same options. The front of this S90 really shows Volvo's new design language. You've got a really refined look. It integrates some of the old design cues with the grille, but the shape is very new and very modern. We won't talk about the back though. That's my least favorite angle of this car, but in the front here, this is a gorgeous sedan. If you'll remember, the S90 won Sedan of the Year for us last year. Let's hop in and see if it's as good as we remember. Since Volvo provided us with such a similar example to the one we tested last year, it's a great chance to sort of check our memories. Sometimes you can get an idea in your head about a car, about how good it was. You try it again and you find a couple of issues. You go, yeah, maybe it wasn't as good as I thought. In this case, this is every bit as good as we thought. We've talked about it before, but Volvo really has been reborn in a luxury image. You know, it used to have this stodgy, safety conscious, you know, grandpa car image. That's really gone. I mean, the luxury, the level of finish in these interiors, it's just about one of the best on the market now. You really look at every detail on the dashboard. You have this edge on the front with stitching. You see the two pieces come together. It's obviously leather. There's the same thing on the door cards here. You've got this really beautiful wood inlay everywhere. It's, again, obviously actual wood. You got these incredible metal speaker grills that cover up this Bowers & Wilkins audio system. And for those that are audiophiles, you know the B&W brand, you know, is a long-established British hi-fi audio company. It's really, again, one of the best sounding car audio systems that you can come across. All of these features and all of these finishes, you know, would seem out of place in a Volvo, the Volvo that you might think of, but this is the new Volvo. Another thing that's part of the new Volvo is more efficiency. Here you've got a twin-charged 2-liter, supercharged and turbocharged, 316 horsepower. And in a big sedan like this thing actually scoots. What's even more incredible about this engine is the torque that it gives. You know, having both a turbocharger and a supercharger means you can cover both the low RPM range and the high RPM range. So right when you dip into the throttle, you've got immediate torque. You know, and it only gets better if you get the T8 version, which has 400 horsepower, aided by an electric motor. You're going to get even more of that low-end torque grunt. So, you know, for just a 4-cylinder engine, really impressive performance in this S90. Even sounds kind of good. And again, we've talked a lot about the 4-cylinder just not really matching the level of luxury, and I still stick by that. It's a good sounding 4-cylinder engine, but that 4-cylinder sound is not something you've typically associated with a big luxury car like this. You'd think V6, V8. However, more and more car makers are going to these smaller displacement forced induction engines, so this is going to become the norm. And to be honest, the driving dynamics of this engine do not disappoint in any way. So overall, I guess I'm getting used to 4-cylinders in big luxury sedans. In Europe, a lot of luxury sedans actually use a 4-cylinder engine, so shouldn't really be that out of place. It's only not normal to us here. Just because Volvo has this new luxury image doesn't mean that they've forgotten about safety. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. We now take 1 year closer to Volvo's Vision 2020, where they've made the commitment that they don't want to see any fatalities in a Volvo vehicle by the year 2020. 2 more years to really get that done. And even the most base S90 that you can get comes with the pilot assist. It's essentially nearly an autonomous vehicle on the highway. It will remind you to put your hands back on the wheel, but ultimately this thing will drive itself. Even beyond that sort of semi-autonomous highway mode with the pilot assist, you have all these city safety aids as well. You've got blind spot monitors, 360 cam, you've got pedestrian detection, automatic braking, lane assist, one of the best lane assists you can get. There's really no shortage of incredible active safety features here, kind of really the best in the industry. And you know, the Volvo, they've been able to create this new image and retain all of the safety that they're known for. We've talked about how great this infotainment system is before. I've read a lot of comments and a lot of other reviews of people who don't share my opinion. For me, this is really the future of it, and I think maybe you're seeing people that don't want to accept that, but what you have with this display is really a ton of flexibility. The fact that it's vertical, the fact that you can have multiple things on the screen at the same time and you can quickly switch between applications. The controls for the HVAC are really seamless and easy to use. I think the key here is that a lot of people don't want to use touchscreens, they want actual buttons. What you have with this system is touchscreen that is actually functional. So if you do get used to it, even if you're not a touchscreen person, if you just spend some time with it and get used to it, it's very intuitive and you'll be able to use it very easily. If you're plugging in your phone and using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, it actually uses only half the screen and you've got other options. It moves some of the other options down below so you can actually use some of the other features of the infotainment system. Most cars, when you plug in with those systems, it pretty much takes over the display. You can't do anything else. Really like the feature of being able to multitask essentially. In most cars these days, it seems kind of silly to get navigation. We all are using our phones to navigate. This system is so easy to use, and the thing to remember is you might go someplace that doesn't have signal. You've got everything right here, but the other key is just how seamless it is. Again, you've got the main display and then you've got these bars to quickly switch between audio and navigation. You know, a lot of other vehicles, the navigation takes over the system once you're in it, and it's a little more difficult to switch back and forth. And if you switch back and forth, you're not going to see the map, you're not going to see all the directions, but here you can actually project your directions to the center display. It really makes it easy to use. All of the controls, all of the displays, even the heads-up display are fantastic. Gives you a warning when there's crosswalk, it projects the speed limit, really gives you a ton of information. Again, another safety aid. One complaint that I have is if you touch the channel up button here and you've got the volume down, you see that it kicks up the audio again and you have to turn it down again. Obviously there's a mute setting or you could turn it off, but a lot of times people will turn the volume all the way down to stop the music, and this is kind of annoying that just hitting that by accident on the wheel will make it start again. Of course, with a big sedan like this, one of the most important things is rear seat legroom, and you've got a ton here. Again, this is a true full-size large luxury sedan, and that means even with my 6'3" frame up here, you've got a ton of space in the back. You could stretch your legs out. There's also a ton of controls in the right rear seat, so you can actually move the front seat if it's a little too close and you don't like the person sitting in it. You can move the seat forward from the back and get yourself a little more legroom. You've got controls for all the window shades, the power window shades, all right there at your fingertips in the rear seat. There's even controls for the sunroof in the back, so obviously this was designed for comfort for the rear seat passengers. Small details like being able to set the temperature of the steering wheel. A lot of heated steering wheels just have one setting, but here you've actually got 3 temperatures on the steering wheel. So many little details like that, just those touches make this even more luxurious. You've got your drive mode selector here in the center. You've got eco, comfort, and dynamic. Not a huge difference. You definitely feel the suspension tighten up under dynamic. You know, this does have quite a firm ride quality. Something I appreciate. This is definitely not a floaty luxury vehicle, but this thing handles fantastically, especially for such a big car. So you're trading off a little bit of cushiness for handling capability. Again, a very European feel from this sedan. So having thoroughly checked out this S90 sedan again, our first impressions from last year hold up. This is not only a gorgeous large sedan, it's an extremely luxurious one, a ton of safety features. $69,000 for our test vehicle is actually a ton of car for the money.